From Lewis in the Black Horse Pub. Good morning and welcome back. Just a quick look at the news headlines again. One, that Rishi Sunak's facing a coup. The Tories are all up in arms, all upset, all discombobulated, all flutter. And Penny Mordaunt is the center of it. She is said to be the focus of any revolt amongst backbenchers. Those backbenchers have disrupted now 3 parliaments, and it's high time that discipline was restored. The other headline, I suppose, that I'm particularly interested in is that Putin has won the election with over 95%, the Russian election with over 95% of the vote cast in his favor. Now, we can say, well, it was all rigged and so on. But that's what happens when freedom of speech, liberty, and of thought is taken away. And we are in danger of sliding into that ourselves. And, it all starts with grassroots. It doesn't start at the top. When you start at the top, you've got to control the masses. When you are the masses, you control the top. And, that seems to be a very, very desirable state of affairs. Unless you actually delegate authority, it doesn't work. And nothing can demonstrate that more than the Russian scene. Of course, the French Revolution ended up the same way, off with their heads. But democracy as we know it is far from perfect, as Churchill said. It's the best that we've got, and we should cling on to it. And William Hague, writing in the Mail, not in the Mail, in the Times last week, warned us that the erosion of local media is a threat to our democratic way of life. And we've been saying that at Mirador for quite some time.
Harvard University in the United States has made a survey of the relationship between shrinking local media and the cost and efficiency of local councils. They've discovered that as local media shrinks, so the efficiency of councils increases and the cost of supporting those councils goes up. We have found that that's true in Lewes. The council has become less efficient the cost of the council tax has risen, and media continues to shrink. At Mirador Television, we hope that we can fill a gap and become the watchdog over local councils and their activities. This is Ringmer, where John Harvard married his wife prior to going to the United States in 1637. This is the church they were married in. So we are very close to Harvard and Harvard University, and we pay great attention to their reviews.
I've never been in this little church, but it's a beautiful little church, apparently. And very, very old. It is possible that it's on the site of a very early monastery, a small monastery settlement. And I really must make an effort to get down there, use my chariot. However, that university review backs up, or is backed up, whichever way you want to look at it, by William Hague and his assertion last week that the erosion of local media is threatening our democratic way of life. Do we really want a one-party state where one side will get overwhelming odds to wipe out the other? Well, we've seen the Tories wiped out in Lewis. And while this station holds no brief for any political party, in fact, in some ways, we say a plague on all their houses, because they're not very good, any of them. But at least we have a political system that continues to support press and political and civil freedom of speech and action. And that anything that puts that under threat needs careful examination and some of it tossed out. Our local councils is first of all, they don't have a democratic way of operating within the council. They recognize that the cabinet system is anathema. It takes away the individual participation of our elected officials. In other words, we are run by just a few people with scant experience of life, scant experience of governance, and scant understanding of what it is that they're in charge of. The major critic and the major man who understands passed away towards the end of last year. Stephen Catlin, former mayor, former councillor at a local and a district level, was the doyen of local politics. He knew what was right and what was not. He asked the right questions. He has not been replaced. And it's sad that we don't have anybody of that stature left in the ranks to try and steer this unruly lot, and yes, ignorant lot, that we've got in charge at the moment, to develop a half-decent local pattern of governance. What the Harvard University Review and William Hague are saying, we endorse entirely. There has to be reform. There has to be a review. We are not being served well by the people we've got at the moment. Oh, they're all very nice. Smile, yeah. But if they can break the rules, they will. And this Green lot did that from the day one that they took over. And their silly nonsense and their silly ideology immediately imposed itself upon, yes, centuries of tradition. Yes, we can laugh at ceremony and tradition, but it's the glue that holds our society together. And to laugh at it and to tamper with it and to destroy it is to destroy our society. You see, it's not just us. It is a creeping sickness. And the doctor who kept the sickness in check, local media, has been almost destroyed. Mostly it's been replaced by social media. Nothing wrong with social media, but essentially they're gossip columns. Mick Symes, who runs Lewis Present, does his best to bring a sense of journalism into it, but it is very difficult and takes all his time and effort. There are 3 or 4 other local social mediums. They do a reasonable job. But generally speaking, it's exactly what's happening in the House of Commons at the moment, is where the backbenchers, the tail is wagging the dog. And that's what happens if social media is the only means of bringing issues into public debate. Mirador Television tries to bring views from a whole range of members of our society, ordinary people, experts, the good, the mighty, the weak, and let's say it, even almost the criminal. But we give a good, rounded view. I don't expect everybody to tune in and watch every moment of what we offer. We try hard to do it so that you can tap in at any time. And you can hear debate on a whole range of topics. But it is important that we try to protect the freedoms which we have, because they're being eroded all over the place. And if you don't think they're being eroded here in Britain, and if you don't think that they're being eroded at local level, we've been calling for an explanation of how our council tax is spent. We've had promises from politicians that the local accounts are going to be filed with the taxman. Are they? No, they haven't been for 4 years. In fact, not even draft accounts have been drawn up, and yet they gaily, this coming month in April, are going to say, oh, we're charging you the most again because of the cost of what we do. They'll put out pamphlets outlining sections of expenses. None of it is true. Or if it is, they're keeping it to themselves and they're breaking the law by not posting it in public accounts. If I do that, I get my fingers badly burned. I get fined. Not apparently our councils. That has got to end. That has got to stop. And I don't care about blame. Oh, well, ever since we got cut back on councils, the money from central government on councils, so you got cut back and cut your cloth. First of all, stop paying your senior officers excessive wages. Oh, we can't do that. Then come up with an alternative plan. Oh, give us time. You had 4 years. In fact, you had more than 4 years. But let's be generous and say that you had 4 years. Well, I'm expecting I'm going to send one more. Right. I'm now going to bow out, and I'm going to join Philip instead of the other way around. So so I'm going to say toodle pip.